dash. Drivers will be paid for their performances. Top 4 finishers from our previous night of racing action inverted. 4th starting 1st and 1st starting 4th. John Komarinsky, Brandon Vance, Gary Wilson underway. The 33 Rolling Rock machine of veteran John Komarinsky has young lion Brandon Vance in the 15 car to the outside of him. Former MOTORDROME Speedway champion Gary Wiltrout in the 60 car rides in the 3rd spot. Rick Miller, 2-time winner in 2005, starting from scratch in this Brandon Vance, a sophomore late model driver in car number 15, spent last season driving Rick Miller's team car in late model competition and advanced his entire racing operation from the pro truck division to the late models in car number 15. Komarinsky has to back off and nearly collects John Komarinsky, a former street stock, pro stock, and truck competitor here at the Speedway, holding off the 2001 late model champion Gary Wiltrout in the 60. Wiltrout looks for the inside lane. Komarinsky a little better through turn 4. 1 lap to go in tonight's Top Dog Challenge for the NAPA Auto Parts late models. Vance opens up a huge advantage as Wiltrout and Komarinsky battle for 2nd. Rick Miller holding down the 4th spot and headed for the checkered flag. He will see for the first time in his late model career it is Brandon Vance winning the Top Dog Challenge. Wiltrout hangs on to 2nd, Komarinsky 3rd, Rick Miller finishing in the 4th spot. Starting on the pole for this 8-lap heat race will be the 78 machine driven by Joe Holt from Uniontown. Then we see the 25 of Dave Tavermina, the 77 of Rich Burbage, the 64 of Bill Henry, the 74 machine of Jason Holder. We see the 66 car starting from the outside of the front row. Max Schlesinger, who immediately drops back to 3rd as Hope and Tavermina move around him, as does Burbage. The 94 is driven by Dustin Blank out on the speedway. 2 wide, the battle for 2nd. Early leader Joe Hope over Tavermina and Burbage. Eight laps the distance of our preliminary heat race events for all divisions. These heat races will determine the starting lineups for tonight's feature events. As early leader Joe Hope in the 78 feels pressure already from Dave Tavermina. We have a lead change working lap number 2 in this first heat race for the Subway Street Stock division. Dave Tavermina, who was involved in a controversial issue last week here at the Speedway, he tangled with leader Frank Turek early in the Subway Street Stock feature. Both of those cars were sent to the rear, but both Tavermina and defending champion Turek rose through the field to finish in the top 5 in last week's feature. Tavermina now out in front of Joe Hope. Jason Holder advancing into the 3rd position now over Henry in the 64. Burbage completing the top 5 with Dustin Blank and front row starter Max Schlesinger just behind Burbage in the 77 car. Halfway through this preliminary heat race, 4 laps are completed, 4 laps are remaining. Dave Tavermina in the 25 car. Out in front after last week's incident while battling for the lead. Jason Holder in the 74, meanwhile, has closed in on Hope in battling for the 2nd spot. Holder now all over the back of the 78 machine. Last week, Jason Holder was chosen as the Subway Street Stock Challenge driver. He came home in the 2nd spot, just 1 position away from earning everyone at the Speedway a 6-inch meatball sub courtesy of Subway. And he uses the high line in turn 4 to challenge Hope for the runner-up spot here in this heat race with 2 laps remaining. Dave Tavermina way out in front of this one. Max Schlesinger in trouble between turns 1 and 2, spins the 66 car to the inside retaining wall here on lap 6. Yellow book caution flag waving for Schlesinger's 66 car, and we will hold up the racing action in Subway Street Stocks heat number 1. Tavermina with a huge jump on the start buries Joe Hope right at the drop of the green with 2 laps remaining. Tavermina in car 25 with a healthy advantage over Hope, Holder, Henry, Burbage, and Blank. White flag waving for this final lap of heat race number 1. The Subway Street Stock Division on 3M Automotive Division night at Motordrome Speedway. Tavermina now with about a half a straightaway lead over Holp in second, and division points leader Jason Holder making a bid for second spot to the outside. He needs the heat race points to maintain that advantage. Meanwhile, the checkered flag waves over Wilmerding's Dave Tavermina. Joe Holp hangs on for the second spot, Jason Holder in third, Henry into fourth, and Dustin Blank completing the top 5 in the 94 machine. Dave Tavermina, your heat race winner for the Subway Street Stocks in preliminary heat number 1. Subway Street Stocks heat race number 2 rolls out onto the speedway. Andrew Kostelnik, the pole sitter in car 57, Jonathan Heilman in the 15, defending champion Frank Turek in car number 5, opening night winner Jeff Petrini in the 33 car. Then we find the 35 car driven by Bill Ashton. The 22 is veteran Robin Rimmel, and the 17 is Dave McManus. Tight racing up front, Kostelnik out in front. His older brother, the defending modified division champion, Turek, the defending Subway Street Stock champ, into second. Heilman back to third, and Jeff Petrini in the 33 car, challenging for the third spot, while Ashton and Rimmel side by side behind him. Jeff Petrini with a heartbreaking situation after winning on opening night and becoming the division points leader. He crashed in hot laps last week in the 33 car and unable to compete. Meanwhile, the defending champion Frank Turek is the man on the move, sliding under Kostelnik for the lead. And on lap number 2, give the lead to Frank Turek in the 5. Kostelnik back to second, Heilman holding on to third, and Ashton makes hard contact with Petrini. In turn number 1, Will Ashton in the 35 car, hard into the left rear quarter of Jeff Petrini, your opening night feature winner. Petrini last week lost the right front wheel and made contact with the outside retaining wall in a practice session, had to load up and head for home. Frank Turek in car number 5, dominant feature winner last season and division champion, out in front. Last week he was leading on lap number 7 when our first heat race winner Dave Tavermina made contact with the 5, sending both cars to the rear and opening up a victory for Todd Knight. Now it is Turek with a healthy advantage over Andrew Kostelnik, Andrew Kostelnik, the younger brother of Adam. Jonathan Heilman and Robin Rimmel now waging war for the third position. Rimmel, also a many-time feature winner last season in the NAPA Auto Parts 22 car, making the move on Heilman. Rimmel takes over third, Heilman back to fourth, Jeff Petrini hanging on to fifth after that hard contact with the Ashton machine. Ashton is in sixth as there are 2 laps remaining for leader Frank Turek. Rimmel just as quickly now challenging Kostelnik for second. Rimmel, who was a Valvoline Hard Charger Award winner already this season, passing cars at Motordrome Speedway, part of his weekly agenda as he moves into second around Kostelnik. As the white flag is waving, he will not be able to reel in leader Frank Turek, but nevertheless charge through this heat race field for a second place run as your leader heads into turn number 4. Car number 5, the defending Subway Street Stock champion Frank Turek taking the checkered flag. Robin Rimmel up to a second place finish ahead of Andrew Kostelnik, Jonathan Heilman, and Jeff Petrini completing the top 5. Remember to stop into any of the sponsoring Subway locations and try any of the fresh made subs on a fresh toasted bun. Check the back of your ticket for a special offer from Subway. And as always, Subway offers any foot-long sub on Tuesday for only $4.29 at sponsoring Subway locations. Pole sitter in car number 98 is veteran Mike Bacalon. Outside in car 60, last week's feature winner, defending division champion Adam Kostelnik. Inside row 2, the 99 is driven by Bo Glemba. The 11 car is John Prabanich. Behind them we see the 22 machine driven by Brian Pickering, the 5 of Jim Nicola, the 32 of Matt Panaya, and the 7 of Ben Easler, all out on the speedway. 2x2 racing on lap number 1. Mike Bacalon, the Froggy 98.3 modified out in front. He was a feature winner last season, as well as Kostelnik. And we have trouble. Prabanich, Pickering slamming into the wall. Nicola in the 5 spins to avoid it, but heavy damage to John Prabanich's 11 car. Brings out the caution on lap number 1. For heat race number 1 in the SMAIL Pontiac GMC Modifieds, 8 laps the distance. At the initial green, Bacalon got the jump, but on this complete restart, Adam Kostelnik takes off like a rocket and has a 4-car length advantage over Bacalon. Jim Nicola in the 5 rides in 3rd, and Bo Glemba creeping up on him in the 99 car. Tonight's modified feature here on 3M Automotive Group Night at the Speedway will be 20 laps in distance. Each of their 2 heat races, 8 laps. Adam Kostelnik and Mike Bacalon, the top 2, breaking away just a bit, it seems, from Jim Nicola in the 5. While Kostelnik was the champion last season with 7 victories, Bacalon was 4th in the final standings in 2004 with 1 victory to his credit in the Froggy machine. And indeed, working lap number 3, Kostelnik and Bacalon putting some distance between themselves and 3rd running Jim Nicola. Meanwhile, a battle for 4th develops into turn number 3. Matt Panaya in the 32 to the inside of Bo Glemba in the 99. Panaya takes the position away as Glemba drifts very high in turn 4, but gathers it back in before making contact with the wall. Panaya up to 4th, Glemba in 5th. Adam Kostelnik of East McKeesport, Pennsylvania, has 1 heat race victory and 1 feature victory in 2005 to his credit, and he is leading veteran Mike Bacalon of North Versailles. Kostelnik driving the Viglione Racing number 60 and has the Froggy 98.3 machine right on his back bumper with only 2 laps remaining. This time at the start-finish line, the white flag is displayed indicating final lap for Kostelnik and Bacalon battling for the heat race victory. Nicola hangs on to 3rd by himself with plenty of room between himself and Panaya in 4th. Down the back straight, final attempt for a pass by Bacalon. He pulls right up to the rear bumper of Kostelnik, nearly making contact, but at the drop of the checker, it will be defending champion and points leader Adam Kostelnik, winning heat race number 1 for the SMAIL Pontiac GMC Modifieds over Mike Bacalon, Jim Nicola, Matt Panaya, and Bo Glemba completing the top 5. On the pole, the 04 car driven by Bob Shipp from Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. He was last season's Charger Division champion in only his 3rd night of competition with the Modifieds. Outside of him, it's veteran Matt Smith from New Eagle, PA. Smith has a heat race victory in 2005. The 94 machine is driven by Al Civic to the inside of row 2. Outside, it will be the 01 of Harry Opfer. In row number 3, it's opening night feature winner in car number 16, Gary Scott. Outside of him, George P. Nicola in the 97. Then we find the 6 machine driven by Tom Frank, the 4 of George Thomas, and the 9 of Rick Huffman as the green flag waves. SMAIL Pontiac GMC Modified heat race number 2 underway. And the rookie gets crossed up on the start. Bob Shipp, the defending Charger Division champion, looked like he made some contact with the side of Matt Smith's car, had to back off and gather it in, opening up a spot for Harry Opfer, now riding in the 2nd position. Matt Smith, car number 3, a veteran modified competitor. Nickname of that car, the Nuclear Banana, out in front of Harry Opfer from Bell Vernon. Then a side-by-side battle as George P. Nicola in the 97 works his way to the outside of Bob Shipp in the 04. Nicola takes away the third position. He has a heat race win already this season as we're working lap number 2. Nicola closing quickly on Opfer, and just as quickly, Gary Scott has moved around Bob Shipp and closed on Nicola. We will have a 3-car battle for second down the front straight. It's George P. Nicola to the inside, Harry Opfer in the middle groove, and Gary Scott looking for racing room on the high side. Nicola with a handling problem, looks like he may have dropped off the inside part of the racetrack, had to get out of the throttle. Scott now all by himself in third, challenging Opfer for second. Nicola still on the inside groove, hanging on to the 4th position. Halfway through this 8-lap preliminary, 4 down, 4 to go. Harry Opfer still hanging on to second place, nearly a straightaway behind your leader, Matt Smith. Gary Scott trying to work the outside lane on Opfer's 01 machine. George P. Nicola hangs right there in the 97 car, side by side at the line. This time, the second position still belongs to Harry Opfer by inches. Now on the back straight, Gary Scott taking away that position. As you watch the scoreboard, the spots are scored at the start-finish line. So as Matt Smith works lap number 6, we see a new second-place competitor in the form of Gary Scott up from the rear of the field. He's passed Nicola, he's passed Opfer and Shipp. Harry Opfer now trying to defend the 3rd position from George P. Nicola's advances. White flag waving for Matt Smith out in front all by himself in the nuclear banana number 3. Gary Scott, the opening night feature winner, in second. Here comes Nicola now switching to the high line after using the inside lane for all 7 laps. George P. Nicola makes a bid for third, side by side with Harry Opfer to the top side of the 01 car. Out of turn 4, the heat race is won by Matt Smith, who checked out on this field. Gary Scott will come home in the 2nd spot, and a close battle for third will go to Harry Opfer over George P. Nicola as the 04 of Bob Shipp complete the top 5. On the speedway right now, we see the 29 machine, the Germack heating and cooling entry, driven by Jim McGonigal. Outside, it's veteran from Connellsville in the 11, Bobby Henry. Inside row number 2, the 43 car is driven by Mike Adams of Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. Outside of him, we see the 38 car from the Bellevue Racing Stables. That is Chris Kossel, a truck graduate moving up to the late models as a rookie. Veteran John Komarinsky drives the Rolling Rock 33. Sean Pilla in car number 5 from Connellsville, and the Froggy 98 machine of Paul Urso. 10 laps, the distance for the NAPA Auto Parts late models, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series late models. Bobby Henry out in front of McGonigal. The car that McGonigal's driving will possibly be driven by Chantel Germack, who will be a late model rookie later this season. But currently in the 3rd position, it is a true late model rookie, Chris Kossel in car number 38, holding off the advances of Sean Pilla in the 5 car. Mike Adams in the 43 falling just a bit off the pace as John Komarinsky is about to take away a top 5 running position from the 43. Working lap number 2, Bobby Henry out in front. The Stone and Company Megan Ford number 11 for the Connellsville veteran. Jim McGonigal in the 2nd position. Watching the battle for third as young Chris Kossel in his rookie season with the late model division, holding off Sean Pilla in the 5. Battle for third is a pair of Connellsville, Pennsylvania residents. Sean Pilla, the beautiful blue number 5 machine, and the Valvoline Brooks Automotive Group 38 of Chris Kossel. Kossel was a 2-time feature winner in the truck division here at Motordrome last season and has Sean Pilla pouring all over him. Sean Pilla last season came home in the 7th position in the final point standings of 2004. And he is trying to wrestle away the 3rd spot. Jim McGonigal, meanwhile, all by himself in 2nd position in car number 29. On the occasions that Chantel Germack will drive the 29 car, it will actually be numbered 21. But tonight with Jim McGonigal, a longtime Motordrome Speedway veteran behind the wheel, he is solidly into a 2nd place run as we work lap number 6 of 10. Bobby Henry out in front. Henry, a 2-time feature winner last season, driving for a different team. Henry won the crown jewel event, the NAPA Auto Parts 100, in late summer last season for his first win of the year. Henry does have a heat race victory to his credit already in 2005, as he is all by himself down the back straight. Turn our attention back to that battle for third. It is heating up as Paul Urso in the Froggy 98.3 has joined Sean Pilla and Chris Kossel. Only 2 laps remaining, and the rookie Chris Kossel holding at bay Sean Pilla. Paul Urso moving past Komarinsky and Adams on the back bumper of Pilla, but those 2 cars of the 38 of Kossel and the 5 of Pilla, so close they could touch, and they do in turn 4 make contact. Everybody backs off, and Urso is the victim of the contact between Pilla and Kossel. Yellow book caution flag waving. And with the points on the line, Bobby Henry accelerates away from McGonigal with 2 laps to go. Bobby Henry has won features at Motordrome Speedway on the dirt and the asphalt. Jim McGonigal in second place, meanwhile, a pure stock and street stock graduate, into the late models with the Germec team this season as the white flag waves. Rookie Chris Kossel still maintains the 3rd position despite the heavy pressure of Sean Pilla in car 5. Final time through turns 3 and 4, the 11 of Bobby Henry will win his 2nd heat race of 2005. Jim McGonigal in for the 2nd spot. Chris Kossel distancing himself just a bit from Sean Pilla, who will finish in the 4th spot, and then John Komarinsky completing the top 5. Napa Auto Parts late model heat number 1. The black number 12 machine is another asphalt late model rookie. Car number 12 is Tony Mussolino. Starting outside of Pittsburgh's Mussolino will be the 51 of John Messenger from Morgantown, West Virginia. Then we see the 69 machine driven by Chris Lester of Uniontown. The 88 machine of Josh Richards from Shinston, West Virginia. Another asphalt late model rookie in the silver 88 car. 2-time and defending champion Rick Miller from Dunbar in car number 25. Gary Wiltrout, a former Motordrome champion in the 60, and top dog challenge winner Brandon Manns in the 15. John Messenger, your early leader, as a pair of West Virginians out in front of this one. Teenager Josh Richards, a professional dirt track racer, in only his 2nd start on pavement in car number 88, challenging veteran Messenger. John Messenger in the 51 car finished last season in the top 5 in the point standings with the Napa late models, and he's got Josh Richards right on his heels. Here comes defending champ Rick Miller. In 2005, it has been all Rick Miller here at Motordrome Speedway, picking up the only 2 feature victories so far, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series in car 25. He is looking to the outside of Richards, who was a 2nd place finisher here on opening night in his first pavement run. 2 wide, the battle for 2nd behind John Messenger. Morgantown, West Virginia driver hanging on to the lead, but Rick Miller finds some speed to the top side of the racetrack. The Valvoline Brooks Automotive Group Pontiac challenging Messenger's Monte Carlo to the outside. Working lap number 4, it appears that Messenger had the lead by inches. No, it's Rick Miller. Scorer is saying it was Rick Miller at the line. You have a new leader on lap number 4. Messenger back to 2nd and feeling the pressure from Josh Richards now. The teenage West Virginia driver battling the West Virginia veteran on the inside. Josh Richards in 88, John Messenger in 51. Side by side for 2nd as Rick Miller sets sail toward yet another heat race victory out in front. Richards seems to have completed the pass for 2nd position. At the line this time, we're working lap number 6. On opening night in the Napa late models, it was Rick Miller and Josh Richards finishing 1-2. And here in this 2nd preliminary tonight on 3M Automotive Group Night, it is Rick Miller over Richards once again. John Messenger hangs on to 3rd, but Gary Wiltrout in car 60 is fast closing on the 51. Wiltrout, another former Motordrome late model champion. We saw him earlier in the Top Dog Challenge, which was won by Brandon Manns, who holds the 5th spot behind him. Wiltrout was able to close on Messenger's back bumper in turn 3 and does it again. The 60 machine, the Lint Flooring Benz Racing entry with Gary Wiltrout on board, very strong in turns 3 and 4. Wiltrout now moves up one lane in turns 1 and 2 to try and reel in Messenger for a top 3 finish in this heat race. Rick Miller out in front. We'll see the white flag this time. 1 lap remaining. The driver with 2 consecutive late model championships under his belt and 2 feature wins this season from Dunbar, Pennsylvania. Rick Miller sees the checkered flag just ahead of Josh Richards. 3rd place, it is John Messenger, holding off the advances of Gary Wiltrout and Brandon Manns, completing the top 5. On the pole for this heat race, the driver of the 02 is Dan Lewis from Monongahela. Outside in car number 1, it's Steve Black from Greensburg. Inside row number 2, we find the 55 of Curtis Stewart from North Huntington, and last week's feature winner in truck number 69, Dave Marrow from Wall, Pennsylvania. Opening night feature winner drives truck number 50. That is Bob Sprout Kossel from Connellsville. Then we see the 22 machine of Dwayne Noel from Irwin, Pennsylvania. Starting scratch in this one, the 98 machine of Ken Grimm from Masontown, as we are green flag and racing. 8 laps the distance in the Davies Ford Pro Trucks. Out in front, the 02 truck driven by Dan Lewis. Side-by-side racing behind him, Steve Black loses the 2nd position to Dave Marrow. Marrow, not only last week's feature winner, but a former division champion of the Davies Ford Pro Trucks, taking over 2nd. It is Stewart currently holding the 4th position and Grimm in 5th. Truck number 50 of Bob Sprout Kossel, the opening night feature winner, retires to the pit area. That truck may not be under power. We see lights on the dash as he makes the hard turn to his trailer in the pits. Working lap number 3, the 02 of Dan Lewis of Monongahela, all out in front. No one around him at this time. Last season he had 2 feature victories. He was 6th in the final point standings, and has about an 8 or 10 truck advantage over Dave Marrow. Davies Ford Pro Truck Racing, the 02 of Dan Lewis all by himself out front, making his way past the lap machine of Noel in the 22 car. White flag waving now, Dave Marrow in 2nd. Marrow has closed that gap just a bit, but in 1 lap he will not have anything to say about the win, as it does appear that the checkered flag will be waving over Monongahela, Pennsylvania resident in the 02 truck heat race winner, Dan Lewis. Dave Marrow holds on for 2nd. Steve Black in the 3rd spot. Lap machine of Noel, and then the 55 of Curtis Stewart in 4th. Ken Grimm completing the top 5 in the Davies Ford Pro Truck. We'll stop by and see our friends at the Air Force Racing display behind the main grandstands, as we are racing once again. 4 laps of 6 completed in the Yellow Book Charger. Preliminary heat race on 3M Automotive Group night. Tracy Keller out in front. White flag in the air this time. Tracy Keller in car number 1 suffered a broken neck in the summer of 2004 as a result of a highway accident, was forced out of racing for the last part of 2004, but nevertheless still finished in the 5th spot in final point standings, as the driver from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, with a heat and feature win to his credit already, picks up heat race victory number 2. Checkered flag waving, the 51 of Clifford Abbott into the second spot. Rick Broadwater in third. 32 of Dan Jordan will finish fourth. And we see the 13 car of Denny Keller completing the top 5. The Advance Auto Parts sponsored American Flyers division on the Speedway now. Entry-level 4-cylinder racing. On the pole for this one, it's teenage rookie sensation Richie Miller, who won the opening night feature event in car 87. Outside of him, we see car number 12, driven by Roger Bryan of Smithton, Pennsylvania, local driver. Green flag is out. The 6 machine is William Bone, and he's got cars on both sides of him. He's got the 67 machine, as well as last week's feature winner, the 16 car of Ed Deneen, charging around the 6 of Bone. There's the 28 of Larry Vance in behind them. William Oldham shooting through traffic, passing the 22 of Gene Greco. And we see the 24 car. Sorry, that's the 34 machine of Aaron Minjock. Completing lap number 1, it is Richie Miller out in front. These cars are relatively unmodified 4-cylinder street cars with safety modifications to protect the drivers. Otherwise, in terms of performance, relatively stock automobiles in competition for our entry-level drivers in the Advance Auto Parts American Flyers. 3 wide racing, Larry Vance and William Bone making a sandwich on the front straight. The 0 machine off the pace. That is a tough break for Joey Richards out of Greensburg. A challenge for the lead as the 2 feature winners from 2005 make contact in turn 3. Richie Miller, opening night winner as a rookie, won his first competitive race on the same night that Dad won the late model feature. He's feeling the pressure of last week's feature winner in car 16, Ed Deneen from Wilkinsburg. Deneen has a heat race victory already this season, and he is challenging for his second one as he dives under Miller down the back straight. Into turn number 3, last week's winner Ed Deneen now out in front of Richie Miller. William Bone holds on to 3rd, Larry Vance in 4th, William Oldham in 5th at the white flag. 1 lap remains in the 5-lap preliminary heat race for the Advance Auto Parts American Flyers. Their feature later this evening will be 8 laps in distance. If you would like to move from the grandstands to the Speedway, this is the entry-level division that can turn you into a race car driver. You can visit our MOTORDROME.com website for more information, and you could be just like Ed Deneen, a 2-time heat race winner. In car number 16, Richie Miller grabs the second spot, William Bone, Larry Vance, and William Oldham completing the top 5. 3M Automotive Night about to get feature races underway. On the pole for tonight's 20-lap Subway Street Stock feature, the driver of car number 15 from Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania, Jonathan Heilman. Outside in car number 94 from Valencia, Pennsylvania, veteran Dustin Blank. Inside row number 2, opening night feature winner in car number 33, Jeff Petrini from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Outside of him in car number 74 from Stoystown, current division points leader Jason Holder. Row number 3 is made up of tonight's heat race winners from the Subway Street Stocks, the defending champion in car number 5 from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, Frank Turek, and outside of him in car number 25 from Wilmerding, Pennsylvania, Dave Tavermina. The 64 car inside of row number 4 is driven by Bill Henry. Outside of him, it's Joe Holp in the 78 machine. 57 car is driven by Andrew Kostelnik, and there sits the Ford number 22 of Robin Rimmel, tonight's Subway Street Stock Challenge driver. 77 is Rich Burbage, 35 is Will Ashton, 17 is Dave McManus as the green flag waves. Contact on the front straight, 4 wide, racing beside Jason Holder. Multi-car contact. That is Joe Holp and the 64 car driven by Bill Henry that nearly locked up with one another. As front row starter, Dustin Blank not up to speed in the 94 car. Chaos on the start. Jonathan Heilman, your leader. Petrini in second, Turek in third. A start that was loaded with commotion. Joe Holp and Dave Tavermina battling now for the 6th position as more contact. Tavermina diving to the inside after contact with Holp. Rich Burbage nearly avoided that incident, and it looks like Tavermina has made contact with the inside wall, bringing out the yellow book caution flag. Grift, as we see the green flag with Robin Rimmel in 5th, tonight's Subway Street Stock Challenge driver. The restart much more orderly than the initial start, but we're about to go 3 wide for the lead. Into turn number 3, Turek to the bottom side, Heilman on the top, and they split Petrini's 33 car. Unbelievable action in the first 2 laps of the Subway Street Stock feature. Defending champion Frank Turek, seeking his first win in 2005, is out in front. Meanwhile, Robin Rimmel has passed Jonathan Heilman. Rimmel is up to 3rd. He is the Subway Challenge driver for tonight and has only Jeff Petrini and himself between battling for the lead. Side by side for 4th, the 64 of Henry, the 15 of Heilman, working lap number 3, and side by side behind them, it's Joe Holp and Jason Holder. Looking like a parade lap, the battle for 4th and 5th, side by side, 4 cars, 2 in a row, and they're lining up behind that. Ashton and Burbage forming 2 by 2. Top 3 cars breaking away as Henry now squeaks out an advantage over Heilman for 4th. Battle for 2nd position intensifies in turn 4. 33 of Jeff Petrini and the 22 of Robin Rimmel. Frank Turek leads on lap 5 with a bumper-to-bumper fight for 2nd, about 4 car lengths behind him. Rimmel trying to look to the inside in turn 3, can't get it done. Petrini now back to the bottom to throw a block for Rimmel's 22 car. A little bit of contact on the front straight as Jason Holder and Jonathan Heilman getting together. Holder has some body panels peeled up off the 74 car now. Next time by, check out the 74 with a left rear fender sticking up in the air as a result of that contact with Heilman, the front row starter, who's falling back in this field. Working lap number 7 of the 20-lap Subway Street Stock feature on 3M night at the races. Battle now develops for 2nd in the center of the back straight. Robin Rimmel in the 22, Jeff Petrini in the 33. Rimmel, 5 times a winner last year. Petrini, his first Motordrome win on opening night of 05, and Petrini will lose the 2nd position. Robin Rimmel started about row number 4 and has taken away the 2nd position. Frank Turek, the defending division champion, is out in front. Turek last season with 8 feature victories. He was a heat race winner tonight. And we'll see if Robin Rimmel can close the gap in the 2nd half of this Subway Street Stock feature. Chief starter Denny Carson forms the flags in the crossed pattern indicating halfway. 10 laps down, 10 laps remaining on 3M night at the races. The Subway Street Stock defending champion, Frank Turek from Mount Pleasant, is your leader. Robin Rimmel in 2nd position, unable at this point to gain any ground on Turek, it would appear. In 3rd, it's Jeff Petrini in the 33 car from Greensburg. In 4th, it is Jason Holder despite body damage in the 74 car. And then it's a battle for 5th with the 64 of Henry and the 35 of Ashton side by side on lap 11 in turn number 1. Best battle on the speedway is the one for 5th as Henry and Ashton are side by side in turn 3, headed to turn number 4, still side by side. Ashton with the front fender out in front of Henry's 64 car, and we have a new 5th place driver. It is the 35 machine of Bill Ashton. Up front, meanwhile, Rimmel has closed the gap on Turek. We are working lap 12, soon to be lap 13 at the stripe, and Robin Rimmel's NAPA Ford has come to life. Frank Turek in car 5 has had things all his way as the defending division champion in this feature event so far after winning his heat tonight. Robin Rimmel could win everyone in attendance a free 6-inch meatball sub by driving to victory tonight. working lap number 14. Rimmel has closed the gap by several car lengths to Turek's number 5 car. Turek driving a Chevrolet Monte Carlo, Rimmel in a Ford Thunderbird. It's Chevy versus Ford, and if that Ford comes out on top, there are 5 laps remaining for Rimmel to win a free sub for everybody in attendance from sponsoring Subway locations. Jeff Petrini several car lengths behind, holding on to the 3rd spot. Holder in 4th, Ashton in 5th. Each time in turns 3 and 4, it seems that Rimmel can close just a bit on Turek, but Turek, the veteran in car number 5, not only the 2004 champion, but also the 1998 Subway Street Stock champion. Turek and Rimmel nearly bumper to bumper in the corners. Rimmel also a former division champion, that being in 2002. He scored more points than any other Subway Street Stock driver and has pulled right to the back bumper of Turek's number 5. About to complete lap 17 at the starting line. They will go to work with only 2 laps remaining. Rimmel definitely has what it takes to challenge Turek, but can he pass him? Working the final 2 laps, it is a 2-horse race. Petrini well back of the lead battle in 3rd. Frank Turek and Robin Rimmel, both former division champions, both veterans and many-time feature winners. White flag this time. 1 more lap for Robin Rimmel to earn a 6-inch meatball sub from Subway for everyone in attendance. Rimmel takes to the outside. They are side by side, headed down the back straightaway. Slower cars could play a factor in this one. Turek still has the lead by inches, but here comes Rimmel. Rimmel maybe using the lap car as a pick. Final lap, Rimmel breaks the car sideways, has to back off to gather it up, and Turek will win. Petrini gets by for 2nd. Last lap dramatics in the Subway Street Stock feature. Holder and Ashton completing the top 5. Starting on the pole for this 20-lap feature, it will be Al Civic from Wall, Pennsylvania in car 94, then the modified division rookie and defending Charger division champion, the 04 of Bob Shipp from Elizabeth, PA. Inside row number 2, it's the 01 car driven by Harry Opfer of Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. Outside of him, it's the nuclear banana number 3 of Matt Smith from New Eagle, Pennsylvania. Inside row number 3, it's the 97 machine, driven by George P. Nicola. Outside of him, it's the 98.3 car of Mike Bacalon from North Versailles. Car number 32 is driven by Matt Panaya from Plumboro, Pennsylvania. The 22 machine is driven by Brian Pickering from Finleyville, Ohio. The black number 99 car is driven by Bo Glemba. Outside of him, it's the 5 of Jim Nicola from Pittsburgh. 16 machine is driven by Gary Scott, the opening night feature winner. Outside of him, last week's feature winner, Adam Kostelnik, pair of feature winners starting in row number 6. Then we move back to the 7 machine, driven by Ben Easler, the 9 car of Rick Huffman, the 6 of Tom Frank, and the 4 of George Thomas completing the field. Strong runners starting mid-pack and further back. Meanwhile, it's a modified division rookie out in front. The 04 Ship, and there's contact on the back straight. The 94 machine, driven by 94 of Al Civic, wiggles down the back straight. An amazing job of everyone in front and behind him to maintain control. I thought we were headed for disaster as Civic's car wobbled violently down the back straight. Bob Shipp, the defending Charger Division champion, out in front. Veteran Mike Bacalon with a diving inside move. Looked like he took Matt Smith by surprise. Civic crossed up again and makes contact with Kostelnik, the defending champion and heat race winner. Spins to the top of turn number 2 with Bo Glemba spinning to avoid in the 99. Adam Kostelnik received a bump from the 94 of Al Civic, as Civic has experienced handling problems from the drop of the green. And Kostelnik, last week's feature winner, brings out the yellow book caution flag on lap 2, and we see Matt Smith making contact with Mike Bacalon on the front straight. It looked like Bacalon's pass for second took Smith by surprise, and there was some unwanted contact under caution flag conditions here in the SMAIL Pontiac GMC Modifieds. As we go green flag racing, 2 completed, 18 to go. Battle for the lead, Mike Bacalon inside of Bob Ship. In turn number 3, it would appear that Bacalon's inside lane has been successful again to take away the lead, just as he took away second position. Mike Bacalon from North Versailles in the Froggy 98.3 modified out in front of rookie Bob Ship in the 04. Matt Smith in the 3. Maybe trying an outside lane to move by Ship. 3 cars, bumper to bumper to bumper, Ship, Smith, and Nicola. George P. Nicola in car 97, also a heat race winner in 2005. Nicola last season finished in the 2nd position in points with 4 victories to his credit, currently riding in the 4th position. Battle for 5th is side by side. Jim Nicola in the 5, Harry Opfer in the 01 car, and then it's opening night feature winner Gary Scott joining that battle. Scott to the outside of Opfer in the 16. Leader Mike Bacalon on lap number 6 makes his way past the damaged 94 of Al Civic, and we see a caution flag on the speedway. The 7 car has made hard contact with the outside retaining wall. His wheel is passing him up on the front straight. Ben Easler from Allison Park, Pennsylvania comes to rest just in front of the start-finish line. Remember that Bacalon and Smith battled for 2nd position very early in this feature event, and Smith appeared to be unhappy with the way Bacalon took that position away. Rookie and pole sitter Bob Ship holding on to the 3rd spot. Then it's George P. Nicola and the 5 of Jim Nicola. Gary Scott in the 16 charged up from about the 12th starting position for 6th right now as the green flag waves. Battle developing for 3rd. George P. Nicola in the 97, Bob Ship in the 04, side by side in turn 3. Nicola, longtime veteran, former champion. Ship, the Charger Division champion a year ago, just moved up to the Modifieds. Ship doing a masterful job on lap 6 of holding off the veteran. Meanwhile, Jim Nicola and Gary Scott have joined this battle, and they're 3 wide behind him. Kostelnik charging back up through the field, makes contact with Harry Opfer. Matt Panaya also involved in that action. Bacalon and Smith out front all by themselves on lap 8, but a 4-car battle for 3rd. George P. Nicola finally breaks away with that position over Ship. Here comes Gary Scott from 12th starting position around the outside of the 04 of Ship. Gary Scott and George P. Nicola now 3rd and 4th, with Jim Nicola and Adam Kostelnik about to challenge the 04 of Ship. Modified rookie Bob Ship in his 3rd event as a modified driver, hanging on to a top 5 spot with 2 competitors charging right behind him. Adam Kostelnik, who was sent to the rear as a result of that caution flag, and Jim Nicola, who started at the rear of this feature grid. Best battle on the speedway is that for 5th. Adam Kostelnik, the defending track champion in the SMAIL Pontiac GMC Modifieds, wrestles away the 5th position from Ship. Ship to the outside, Nicola to the inside, now battling for 6th, and Nicola will take that position away. Here comes Matt Panaya to challenge. Working lap number 11 of 20. Up front, Mike Bacalon in the Froggy 98.3 car. Matt Smith in the nuclear Banana number 3. George P. Nicola is third. Gary Scott from deep in the field to fourth. And Adam Kostelnik, now the man on a mission. After being taken out from a starting position closer to the front, is working his way back up from a caution flag incident. Kostelnik will now challenge Gary Scott. We are watching the battle for fourth position, and they make contact. Scott spinning in turns 1 and 2. Panaya and Ship make evasive moves to get around him, but the contact was initiated by Kostelnik in the 60 car. Those two drivers involved in that incident are the feature winners so far in 2005. Gary Scott in the 16, who spun to bring out the caution, won on opening night. And last week it was defending champ Kostelnik in victory lane. The two locked up and made contact after they thrilled us with 20 laps of perfectly clean racing here on opening night, fighting for the win. North Versailles resident Mike Bacalon, 2002 modified champion. Fourth in the standings last season with a feature victory. Matt Smith last season, fifth in the standings with a feature victory. George P. Nicola in the third position, closing up on the 3 of Smith. 3 long-time modified veterans up front. Bacalon, Smith, Nicola. Three of the top 5 drivers from the 2004 MOTORDROME Speedway standings are leading this field with Bacalon, Smith, and Nicola. They are pulling away just a bit from Jim Nicola and Matt Panaya. Working lap number 15, only 5 to go. Last year, Bacalon was a feature winner, and he receives a bump from the 3 of Smith headed into turn 3. But Bacalon also suffered a grinding crash which found him upside down on the front straight in late summer last season. Bacalon was not injured and returned to competition. Matt Smith with a heat race victory in 2005 already in car number 3. New Eagle, Pennsylvania resident, driving a car owned by his father, a family operation, and he is really feeling the pressure from George P. Nicola. Nicola in the 97. 4 times a winner last season, challenging for second. Top 3 cars not breaking away from one another. They will see the signal of 2 laps to go, and right in front of the leaders we have a problem. Jim Nicola locks the brakes and makes outside wall contact, as I believe it's the 4 car of George Thomas, who was stopped right in front of the leaders. George Thomas in car number 4 from Pittsburgh was crossed up right in front of the leaders as they were bearing down on him to get the signal for 2 laps to go. Jim Nicola in the 5, you see some rear damage to that car as he spun to avoid contact. Smart thing to do on his part. The back end is pushed up just a bit. Very, very smart, quick action taken by Jim Nicola to avoid making hard and dangerous contact with the 4 of George Thomas. As the green flag waves, Bacalon in the Froggy 98.3 gets a couple car length hole shot over Matt Smith in the 3. Smith and Nicola just about bumper to bumper as they exit turn 4 down the back straight. Matt Panaya in 4th has about a 4 car length advantage over Bob Ship, the rookie, hanging on to a top 5 run tonight. Bacalon looks like he got a little bit higher in turn 4 than he might have wanted to that time. 2 laps to go. Matt Smith, George P. Nicola, and Matt Panaya all tightly under a blanket in the battle for the win. Inches from one another's bumpers as we head through turns 3 and 4. The white flag will wave for leader Bacalon this time, but Bacalon doesn't appear as fast. Bacalon was driving away just a bit under that last stint of green flag racing. And now look at Matt Panaya, suddenly the man on the move. He was consistent all night, got himself to racing in the 4th position. Now he's challenging Nicola for 3rd. That's exactly what Bacalon needed as they come to the checkered flag. Feature victory for Mike Bacalon. Matt Smith hangs on to the second position. George P. Nicola in third, Panaya in fourth, and Bob Shipp, the rookie, with a top 5 finish in the 0-4.
Okay, who are we talking to?
Hey, Dale and Michael, this is Margaret.
Hi, Margaret. How are you today?
Well, I'm on the air with you two handsome racer boys. If I died right now, I'd die a happy woman.
So, you've ordered our 1979 Buick Regal door pin and bushing kit before?
Oh, yes, and I loved it so much I ordered 3 more as gifts for my grandchildren.
Ah, these make wonderful gifts, Margaret.
They sure do. It's the kind of gift that just keeps on giving. Every time you open and close your car door.
I just love NAPA.
NAPA Auto Parts late models of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series 40-lap feature tonight, brought to you by 3M, as the SMAIL Pontiac GMC pace car will head for the pit area. 40 laps, green flag racing, Messenger, Henry, Urso, Komarinsky, the top 4. Here we go, green flag and racing. Excellent start, everybody holding position well. 2x2 action all through the field. Bobby Henry from the outside of the front row seems to have the jump on Messenger, who wobbles the car out of turn 4. John Messenger's 51 machine broke loose, and Komarinsky spins from 4th. Brandon Mann's taking evasive action. Chris Lester bangs into the 60 of Gary Wiltrout and trying to avoid Komarinsky. Caution flag on lap 1 after a great looking start. Komarinsky possibly making contact with the 88 of Josh Richards. Coming down the front straight, we see the Rocket chassis number 88 with heavy front end damage. I'm not sure if Richards may have gotten into Komarinsky or maybe had to check up. But there is front end damage on the 88 of Richards in his second start after finishing second in his maiden voyage on asphalt. Chris Lester, the CDC Racing 69 car, pulling into the pits with severe damage. He piled into the number 60 of Gary Wiltrout. Green flag, back underway. Henry, Messenger, Urso, McGonigal, and Kossel. Josh Richards now making a move further back in the field. Richards with damage to the front of the 88 car. Dives under the 15 of Brandon Mann's. And in the same move, clears Mike Adams. Josh Richards advances 2 positions on the same lap in car number 88, despite the front end damage. Right behind him is defending champion Rick Miller in the Brooks Automotive 25. Miller to the low side of Adams. Gary Wiltrout side by side with Brandon Mann's behind them. Wiltrout's car apparently undamaged as he passes Mann's and quickly challenges Mike Adams. Turn our attention to a battle for the second position. John Messenger and Paul Urso, 2 drivers still seeking their first Motordrome victory. Urso in the Froggy 98.3 takes the second position away, working lap number 4, while Bobby Henry has a commanding lead on this field early in the going. See position shuffling around Chris Kossel, Sean Pilla and Chris Kossel. Pilla is now in the 5th position, but he has Josh Richards fast closing. Richards in the Alborn Racing number 88 car, sponsored by Rocket Chassis. He finished second in his maiden voyage on pavement. The professional dirt track racer looks to the inside of Connellsville's Sean Pilla. Best battle on the track is for 5th. Richards makes it stick under Pilla. Josh Richards now on the scoreboard. It's lap number 6. He takes away position number 5, and Rick Miller just as quickly goes side by side with Pilla. Miller starting at the rear of this field. 2 consecutive feature wins in 2005. Working lap number 7, he has passed Pilla. Meanwhile, Josh Richards just in front of him. Goes to work on Jim McGonigal in the Germick heating and cooling entry. Richards takes away 4th, and here comes Rick Miller. Miller into the top 5 on lap 8. McGonigal continues to slide back just a bit as he and Sean Pilla make minor contact. Pilla taking away the 6th position from McGonigal. In turns 3 and 4, leader Bobby Henry with nearly a half straightaway lead over last year's Rookie of the Year, Paul Urso. We are working lap number 10 of 40. Henry, Urso, Messenger, the top 3 cars with plenty of space in between each and every one of them, and then several car lengths back to a battle for 4th, which finds 17-year-old Josh Richards and the 2-time champion Rick Miller. Closest battle on the racetrack is for 4th. Rick Miller, whose car was torn down in a post-race inspection last week and declared legal, perfectly legal after 2 dominating performances in the early part of 2005. Miller hangs on to 5th behind Richards, Messenger in 3rd, Urso in 2nd, and Bobby Henry opening up an even bigger lead working lap number 12. Bobby Henry last season placed 14th in the final point standings here at Motordrome, but had 2 victories, including the NAPA Auto Parts 100. And now with more than a straightaway advantage over Paul Urso, we see a battle developing for 3rd. It is lap 13 and Josh Richards in car number 88, challenging a fellow West Virginia resident in Messenger. Mild contact made, bumper to bumper to bumper, but we have a caution flag on 13. On the back straight, it is Gary Wiltrout and John Komarinsky. Wiltrout, the first one to spin in car 60. Komarinsky making contact after the incident as the caution flag came out. Bobby Henry, your leader. Paul Urso, the rookie, in 2nd. John Messenger and Josh Richards, a pair of West Virginia residents, 3rd and 4th. Rick Miller up from deep in the field into the 5th position. On lap 13, Gary Wiltrout is able to pull out of the pits in the nick of time after that restart. Bobby Henry leading Paul Urso. We were watching the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th prior to that caution flag. Josh Richards with a damaged number 88 car, challenging Messenger. Rick Miller has been so strong this season, he's up to 5th from starting at the rear. But we are only 14 laps into this 40-lap feature for the NAPA Auto Parts late models, and Richards is now serious about his challenge for 3rd. Josh Richards now takes the inside line away from Messenger and down the back straightaway. They will be side by side into turn 3. Josh Richards makes the hole and Rick Miller follows right through. John Messenger loses 2 positions in 1 lap. Lap 16, it is all Bobby Henry out front. Paul Urso by himself in 2nd, and 2 cars coming strong from the back of the field. Josh Richards with damage. Rick Miller, the 2-time feature winner this season in the 25. Former champion Gary Wiltrout heads down pit lane once again. His evening may be over. Now battle developing for the 5th position. John Messenger, who's running a very consistent race, is feeling the pressure of both Sean Pilla and Brandon Manns. It is a 3-car battle on lap 18. Manns takes the position away from Pilla. Pilla was challenging for 5th on that very lap, and Brandon Manns storms underneath him. It will now be Brandon Manns nipping at the heels of John Messenger. This time by the start-finish line leader, Bobby Henry, will see the crossed flags indicating halfway. 20 laps remaining. The NASCAR NAPA late model feature on 3M Automotive Division night. 3M, one of the world's most diverse suppliers to the automotive industry, offering over 1,000 products. On hand with us tonight to sponsor the racing action. Henry in 1st, Paul Urso in 2nd, the sophomore late model driver. Josh Richards in 3rd, his first season of pavement racing. The 17-year-old holding off the 2-time and defending champion Rick Miller in car 25. Battle again for 5th, Messenger and Manns. The 51 of John Messenger to the outside. 15 of Brandon Manns to the inside, who won the Top Dog Challenge earlier tonight. He clears Messenger's car and brings Sean Pilla right with him. Sean Pilla had a top 5 position and wants to take one back from Brandon Manns. We are working lap number 23. Bobby Henry, your leader. Paul Urso in second, and Rick Miller now challenging Josh Richards. Miller seemed happy to follow Richards up through this field, using the holes made by Richards to pass race cars as they both started near the tail. Now Rick Miller trying his best to get around the slightly damaged 88 of Josh Richards. Miller looked high, couldn't get it done on the front straight. Now dives back across the speedway, looking to the low side, they make contact. Richards hangs onto the car, but the opening has allowed Rick Miller in car 25 to charge underneath in turn 3. He has taken away 3rd spot. Bobby Henry out in front. It is lap 25. Paul Urso in second. And Rick Miller and Josh Richards make hard contact. Points leader Rick Miller into the outside wall as a result of hard contact from teenager Josh Richards in car 88. 2 of the top running cars on the speedway that charged up from the rear of the field involved with heavy contact. Miller in the 25 car trying to make his way to the pit area. Richards is headed to the pits with now even heavier body damage, missing the right front fender. Miller able to continue with damage to the rear of the Brooks machine, and Josh Richards cannot make it to his pit area. The professional dirt track racer from Shinston, West Virginia has damaged the 88 car, perhaps beyond repair, as that machine is not able to limp all the way down pit road. Green flag is in the air. 15 laps to go for Bobby Henry. Paul Urso in the second spot, the Froggy 98 machine. Last year's Rookie of the Year honors were collected, but he is yet to see a checkered flag. Winless in Motordrome competition in his career. Brandon Manns in the 15 car. Last season drove in the Davies Ford Pro Truck division. Very successful in that division as he cut his teeth as a late model rookie with the Bellevue Chassis team. Speaking of the Bellevue Chassis team, it is Rick Miller and teammate Chris Kossel side by side. Miller takes away the 6th spot. Teammates battling on the racetrack. Bobby Henry will work lap number 28, this time by the start-finish line, and has about a 5 or 6 car length advantage over Paul Urso, who has been unable to close that distance. Then it's a ways back to Brandon Manns and Sean Pilla, who may be battling for 3rd in the coming laps. 5th is Messenger, 6th is Miller. Rick Miller still fast on the speedway despite that hard contact. Last week his car was torn down and determined legal after 2 dominating performances. But right now he is shut out of the top 5 as there are only 10 laps remaining. Bobby Henry in car number 11, out in front. Henry currently 4th in the Motordrome late model point standings. With a win tonight, Henry could easily advance up to the 2nd spot in the standings from 4th. As in front of him, it is Gary Wiltrout from Somerset, retired from the event in the pit area. Henry could gain valuable track points this evening as he leads Urso, Manns, Pilla, and Messenger. Messenger now feeling the pressure of Rick Miller. It is lap 32 with only 8 remaining. Rick Miller is challenging the West Virginia driver for a top 5 position. Miller in the Valvoline 25 looks to the bottom of Messenger down the back straight. Messenger moves up and gives him the room, a clean fight for a top 5 position, and Rick Miller takes that spot away. He does not drive away from Messenger as the 2 are very close and more contact with Miller's machine. John Messenger spins. Chris Kossel into his door, and Jim McGonigal spins to miss the accident on lap 33. John Messenger with hard contact from Chris Kossel as Kossel's teammate Rick Miller had just cleared the 51 for the 5th place on the racetrack. Sean Pilla and Brandon Mans make contact in turn 2. The 5 of Pilla from Connellsville. Oh, he's into the inside wall hard, down the back straightaway. Sean Pilla trying to take away the 3rd position, made contact with Brandon Mans and got the worst of it on the inside, the backstretch. That contact could have been much worse. Pilla gliding down the back straight out of control and makes relatively light contact with the concrete. We are still on lap 33. A slow start as Bobby Henry mashes the gas in turn 3. You heard the brakes squeaking as a slow start brings him to the green. We are working lap 33 with Urso, Mans, and Miller taking up chase of Bobby Henry. Jim McGonigal now finds himself in a top 5 position in the Germec heating and cooling entry. Jim McGonigal, a graduate of the Pure Stock division many years ago, late model veteran now. First year for this team. McGonigal lending his driving experience to the Germec team that's just moved up from the Pro Truck division. Miller now distancing himself from McGonigal as Messenger will challenge for a top 5 spot in car 51. Only 5 laps to go for leader Bobby Henry. Paul Urso is going to feel a challenge from Brandon Mans in these last couple of laps while Rick Miller hangs on to 4th. Paul Urso drifting about half a groove higher than I think he would want that Monte Carlo to be in the corners, and Brandon Mans holding all the way down to the bottom. 4 laps to go this time. Messenger has moved around McGonigal for 5th. Henry with several car lengths advantage in the lead. Working lap 37. Paul Urso in the 98 hanging on to 2nd over Brandon Mans. Back in 4th spot with a slightly damaged race car, it does appear that Rick Miller's victory streak could come to an end tonight, as the Brooks Automotive car has damage on 2 or 3 sides from racetrack contact, working lap 38. This time your leader, Bobby Henry from Connellsville, will see the white flag. 1 lap for Brandon Mans to try and make a move on Paul Urso for the 2nd position. 2 young up-and-coming drivers, both rookies last season in the NAPA Auto Parts late model division. In turn number 3, longtime Motordrome Speedway racer, dirt track winner and asphalt track winner, Bobby Henry takes the victory. Paul Urso hangs on to 2nd by half a car length over Brandon Mans. Rick Miller recovers for a 4th place finish, and John Messenger comes home in the 5th position. Front row, Dan Lewis in the 02, 55, Curtis Stewart, Kossel in black in row number 2 as there's the green flag. Trucking into turn number 1, Bob Kossel, who pulled out of his heat race with a mechanical problem, is not up to speed again in the feature. Tough night for Bob Kossel. He won on opening night, and that truck is not up to speed. He withdrew from the heat race and could be headed for the pit area as that truck is not cornering at all. Truck number 50 with a serious problem. Kossel, well off the pace, will head for the pit area. Out in front, it's Dan Lewis, who blew away the heat race in the Davies Ford Pro Truck Division. Could be on his way to a sweep here tonight. We're working lap number 2 of 15, and there's a challenge for the 2nd spot. Dave Merrow started last in this mini field and has already advanced past Curtis Stewart to the 2nd position. Curtis Stewart in the 55 recovered from a spin to have a good finish last week. Falling back to 3rd now, working lap 3, Dave Merrow in truck number 69. The Wall, Pennsylvania resident, a former division champion. And tonight's heat race winner, Dan Lewis, out in front. As Lewis heads into turn number 1, he will soon have to move around the back marker of Bob Kossel in the 50 truck. Kossel slowing down and appears to be headed for the pit area with a Serious mechanical problem in the 50 truck. He stays out another lap as the leaders, all three, have passed him by, working lap 5. Dan Lewis, Dave Merrow, Curtis Stewart, Steve Black, and Ken Grimm completing the top 5 here on 3M Night at the Races. 3M is a proud participating sponsor in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series and right here at Motordrome Speedway here tonight. 3M is excited to be involved in the grassroots level, offering more than 1,000 products in virtually all automotive application areas. Seven laps completed, and Dave Merrow seems to be closing the gap on leader Lewis in the 0-2 Davies Ford Pro Truck Division. So far this season, 2 nights and 2 different winners. Merrow, last week's winner. Bob Kossel, our opening night winner. This is the first season for Davies Ford as the title sponsor of the Pro Truck Division. Davies Ford, with locations in Connellsville and Charleroi. I invite you to visit their website at daviesford.com as we are about to watch a lead battle develop over the next couple of laps. Dan Lewis in the 0-2, working lap number 9, has had his lead whittled down to about a 4 or 5 truck length advantage over Dave Merrow, who was well back from him when he took the second spot away from Stewart in the 55 truck. Signal given this time, 5 laps remaining. Lewis and Merrow. Merrow ever so slightly closing that gap. Dan Lewis seems to be strongest exiting turn number 2. Look at Merrow close in turn 3. It's a 2-truck race as they have broken away by nearly half a lap over third place Curtis Stewart. We are on lap 11. And Lewis with the strongest part of the racetrack being turn 2, Merrow with his strongest part of the racetrack turn 3. Several drivers from the 2004 point standings in the Davies Ford Pro Truck Division have advanced into the late models. We told you about Brandon Manns, Chantel Germack, Chris Kossel among those drivers using the Motordrome ladder system to climb into NASCAR late models out of the truck division. But we have a caution flag. Truck number 22, Dwayne Knoll out of Irwin, Pennsylvania, slows in turn number 3 to bring out the caution flag. He will need to be pushed into the pit area as we have 2 laps remaining in this Davies Ford Pro Truck event. We have 3 laps to go on 3M Automotive Night. Lewis and Merrow again breaking away quickly from Curtis Stewart. 2 trucks will decide the outcome of this. The 0-2 of Dan Lewis, the 69 of Dave Merrow. They are so close they're touching. Merrow drops off the racing surface and puts 2 wheels in the grass as they get the signal for 2 to go. Close racing in turns 3 and 4, and then Lewis able to get that distance on Merrow at his strength point of the track, turn 2. This time we see the white flag. Again, they're close enough to touch. Bumper to bumper at the start-finish line. Final lap for the Davies Ford Pro Truck feature. Dave Merrow that time sticks with Lewis through his strongest part of the racetrack. Black, meanwhile, takes the 3rd position away from Stewart. This is it, final corner, nose to tail, bumper to bumper. Down to the checkered flag. First-time winner this year will be Dan Lewis by half a truck length. Dave Merrow into 2nd spot, Steve Black in 3rd, Curtis Stewart in 5th, Ken Grimm completing the top 5. We go green flag racing, the Yellow Book Charger division. 51 of Abbott out to the early lead. Keller in the 13, Denny Keller we should say, because Tracy Keller is in the 1 car, and Bahana in his first pavement start having trouble coming up to speed. dropping back from the front row immediately after a good showing in his heat racing car 82. Kellers are side by side behind the 51 of Clifford Abbott. Jeff Giles, who dominated a race like we've never seen before last week in car number 50, has already charged up from the back of the field with a damaged machine, and he is cutting his way through the top 5. He's around Denny Keller. He's challenging the 51 of Abbott, while Tracy Keller is your new leader on lap number 2. Tracy Keller, whose emotional victory on opening night determined that he was completely recovered from serious injuries in a highway accident in 2004, and our night number 2 winner, Jeff Giles, who won by more than half a lap 1 week ago Friday, battling it out up front. Giles' car left the racetrack on a tow truck after tonight's preliminary heat race, which was won by leader Tracy Keller. Those two machines pulling away handily from the 51 of Clifford Abbott. Working lap number 4, Bob Gartschak's 44 machine is the slower car, about to be lapped by the leaders who play bumper tag down the back straight. Tracy Keller in 1, Jeff Giles in 50. 2 cars breaking away. Keller was second last week when Giles got his first career win after 3 years in the Yellow Book Charger division. Lap 5 of 15, the leaders are pulling side by side down the back straight. Tracy Keller to the inside, Jeff Giles on the outside. 2 cars breaking away from the Yellow Book Charger field. At lap number 6, who's going to lead it? It's Jeff Giles. Last week's winner with heavy damage out in front of Tracy Keller. Last season, Keller finished 5th in the points. When Giles won his feature last week, he was also the heat race winner. Tracy Keller performed the same heat and feature sweep on opening night. And Jeff Giles is pulling away again from Tracy Keller, just as he did last week. 51 machine hanging on to the 3rd position. That's Clifford Abbott, Denny Keller in the 4th spot, and Rick Broadwater in the 9, holding down the top 5 positions. One of the drivers normally in competition with us, Gary Ankrum, wanted us to mention to you PARacingnews.net. As we are 9 laps through this 15-lap feature for the Yellow Book Charger division, Jeff Giles, Tracy Keller, and then about a straightaways distance back to Clifford Abbott in the 51. Jeff Giles' number 50 machine, always a beautiful looking race car. Last week it ran as fast as it looked good, but tonight that heavy damage sustained in the heat race. You see the repair patchwork done on the front end of that machine. It apparently has not slowed it much, as he came from the rear of this field to take the lead from Tracy Keller. Only 4 laps now remaining. Battle for the 4th spot. Denny Keller in the 13, Rick Broadwater in the 9. Not much of a battle there for the top 5 positions, as the 32 of Dan Jordan all by himself in 5th. Black flag being given to the to the 13 of Keller, as some steam or smoke coming out the back of that machine, indicating that he is losing some sort of fluid. The 9 of Rick Broadwater was signaling to the flagman that that car may be putting something down on the racetrack directly in front of him. Black flag displayed again for Denny Keller to remove that machine. Meanwhile, leader Jeff Giles, who gets crossed up in turn 4 and has to back off for just a second, will see the white flag. He has such a big lead that that mistake won't cost him anything on the racetrack. Working his final lap, headed for 2 consecutive victories. Last week he won by more than half a lap. This week he's ahead by about half a straightaway. But right in front of him, 2 cars spin! Right in front of the leader. Yes, indeed, something has been put down on the racetrack as 2 slower cars spin directly in front of Jeff Giles on the final lap. Yellow Book caution flag waving over the Yellow Book Charger feature with 1 lap remaining. And there's the green flag. Giles having trouble coming up to speed after dominating the second half of this race. Tracy Keller dives to the inside. This is the final lap. Giles able to recover and make the pass. This will be the white flag this time by. Green-white checker, the policy here at Motordrome when restarts are needed at the end of a race, but Tracy Keller's making a good one of it. Giles had pulled away under the green flag racing, and now on this restart, Tracy Keller is right there giving him all he can handle. Final 2 corners approaching. Giles now opens up about a 3 or 4 car length margin of advantage. Meanwhile, Broadwater and Abbott are battling for 3rd. At the checkered flag for the second week in a row, 2 career victories now for young Jeff Giles. Tracy Keller in the 2nd spot. Abbott hangs on to 3rd, Broadwater 4th, and Jordan in 5th position.
If you're looking for more in an auto parts store, get ready. Advance Auto Parts is working harder to make our stores better than the rest. Get ready for an auto parts store unlike anything you've experienced before. Get ready for a cleaner, brighter, better place to shop. Get ready for a store organized so you can easily find what you're looking for. Get ready for in-store innovations you won't find anywhere else. When you want more than just another auto parts store, the first place to go is Advance Auto Parts.
We're ready in advance.
That car driven by Joey Richards, who pulled out of the heat race with a mechanical problem. Last week's feature winner, Ed Deneen, in the 16, starts from the scratch position. The 51 is Kevin Ludwig from Star Junction, Pennsylvania. Deneen grabbed the heat race win earlier tonight. Meanwhile, up front, it's Richie Miller charging past Minjock. The 87 to the bottom side, Richie Miller. Up top, it's 34, Aaron Minjock. And Minjock now nearly making contact with the 6 of Bone. Lead battle is rookie in car 67, Chuck Hall. And opening night winner, Richie Miller. They're nearly 3 wide on the back straight. Deneen gets squeezed out almost to the outside retaining wall. Bone and Minjock in the battle for 3rd. Deneen now making a sliding move up toward Minjock in turn number 4, and they, amazingly, they didn't make contact, working lap number 2 in this 8-lap Advance Auto Parts American Flyers feature. The 67 of Chuck Hall. How about you Mopar fans? An orange Mopar out in front. Richie Miller in the 2nd position. Battle for the lead and a battle for 3rd. Side by side at the line. Richie Miller is only a half car length out of the lead, headed into turn number 1. The brake lights are on. Miller steals the lead on lap 3. Looking back to the 3rd position, Ed Deneen finally breaks through as he and Bone were pressuring one another for 3rd, and contact on the back straight. Larry Vance is into the outside retaining wall after contact with car number 22 of Gene Greco. And there's the green flag, back up to racing speed this time. Chuck Hall in the 67, leading Richie Miller. Just about to go 3 wide in the battle for 3rd. Deneen pulls away with 3rd position. Minjock dives under the 6 car of Bone and then off the racetrack surface, which allows Bone to battle back. Here comes Bill Oldham in the 5 car. The easiest car on the racetrack to see from any vantage point is car number 5. He's on the move to the outside now. Oldham takes away position from Minjock. He's up to 5th now as the lead battle intensifies. Richie Miller looking for racing room on the bottom. The two cars touch. Chuck Hall hangs on to the lead. Richie Miller nearly in the grass to find a way to make a lead pass. Ed Deneen gains on them as they battle for the top position from 3rd, and contact made. Richie Miller into the left rear quarter of the 67 car. Chuck Hall hanging on to the top spot, but that allows Deneen to close up. The leaders losing momentum as a result of contact on the front straight. Ed Deneen, last week's feature winner, tonight's heat race winner, on the move from the back of the pack, side by side to the outside of Richie Miller, challenging the 87 car. Chuck Hall out in front by himself now in the 67 with 2 laps to go. Working lap 6 of 8 in the Advance Auto Parts American Flyer Division. Action all over the speedway, battle for 4th, battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. We're going to keep our eyes on the lead battle for the moment as Richie Miller takes the low side again, closing in at the white flag. More front straight contact between the leaders. 87 of Richie Miller, 67 of Chuck Hall. Both first-year racers side by side for the lead with last week's winner Deneen in 3rd spot. Miller has nearly completed the pass down the back straight. The race of the night so far, side by side in turn 3. Headed for the checkered flag. Richie Miller on the inside. Chuck Hall on the outside. It will be Richie Miller, 2 for 3. Chuck Hall hangs on to 2nd, Ed Deneen 3rd, Bill Oldham in 4th, and William Bone in the 5th position. What a barn burner to close out the night. Brought to you by 3M Automotive Division.